Good evening, everyone.
As y'all know, I'm Dr. Marco, aka Co-Mark, author of Soul Ties and coach at Preparing Tomorrow's Athlete.
Brother X, Fredo.
Let us remember this day as the importance of unity, kindness, and giving back to the community.
And as we get ready for the festivities and the celebrations,
I know y'all getting ready to eat with y'all family.
Guess it's Turkey Day, huh?
Enjoy the football, enjoy the meals.
we just want to thank you here at the Anti-Network
On behalf of the Anti-Network
for your constant support,
I'm not really good at stuff like this, but
your viewership. We just thank you for everything.
we want to give a shout out from our family
To yours, we want to say
and wish y'all a happy and lovely
Thanksgiving. Be safe out there.
don't eat all the turkey. You probably gotta work out.
Your head on a swivel, and just enjoy. Have a good day.
And once a freaking again, I would have started with a cuss word, but you know we trying to come on this thing correctly. Where we at? This episode what? Number 6?
Six.
Episode 6.
Wow.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, Anti-Network. I am Brother X, and we have a lot of new faces today. Some pretty ones at that. You know, Brother Co-Mark is always in the building. Brother Kazi, Mr. Private Sex in the building. Then we also have two beautiful young ladies from different parts of the United States. It would sound cool across the world, but you know, the United States. And oh shit, my mic. And we have Miss Q and we have Miss Lotto. How you young ladies doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, good. Happy to be here.
Oh, I see. You know, I like this already. You see how y'all just flow with that? Y'all make this good already because, you know, I think one thing about talking, it's about understanding how we all can kind of piggyback each other. Now, just a quick disclaimer. We know this going to probably be over an hour. You know what I'm saying? Just so we clear. But if you got to leave early, we'll understand. Anywho, so we have 3 topics that we said we're going to talk about today. And Brother Comar, what we think we finna lead with today for the guests we have today?
We're gonna talk about Diddy. We're gonna get off of talk about Diddy. You know, Puffy, Sean, whatever you want to be called, Sean Combs.
Brother Love.
Brother Love.
Brother Love, Poppy. I don't know what he is today. Tamara Jailbird, whatever. I don't know what you want to call him today.
Sean Diddy Combs is denying allegations of rape, physical abuse, and sex trafficking by his ex-girlfriend, R&B star Cassie Ventura, in a disturbing new lawsuit. In a complaint filed in federal court on November 16th and obtained by E! News, Cassie claims she was the victim of Combs' violence during their 11-year relationship.
We're gonna talk about Diddy.
Okay, so from my understanding, Miss Q was very interested in this topic from Brother Comark had brought this up. So, Miss Q, can you give us a summary on what you know about the Casey and Diddy case?
It just so happened that when Marco had contacted me and my best friend had been on the phone talking about this for hours. Okay, so it's at the top of my mind. So what essentially has happened is this week, Cassie, who is an ex of Diddy and is also a singer, which I'm using the term singer loosely. She had one hit in 2006 called Me and You. But she recently just filed a lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of abuse and sex trafficking and a whole bunch of other things. And they haven't been together for like 10 years. So it just seemed like it came completely and totally out of the blue. But I think she has ulterior motives. One is money, to try to get some money from him. And then the other is I think she's coming out with a book soon. So this was just to drum up a little bit of press, I think, for her book. But I don't know. What do y'all know? I've been knee deep in this for days. So what do y'all know about it?
I am so sorry. Can I ask a question? Because you mentioned 2 things, the ulterior motive, right?
Yeah.
So I guess if I was reading it right, I guess his people settled, correct, for that number.
Correct. Yeah, she came out with a lawsuit, and it was like publicly, and like the next day
It was settled.
settled it. Yeah.
So why not fight it if you're innocent or if you have some kind of innocence? If you know this person about why not to fight it? Would it be more expensive legally to fight it than 30 million?
I think it will be. So I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm not saying I truly do believe everything that Cassie said. I read a lot of the like 35-page like docket that came out or whatever. I believe a lot of the things that she said. I think that Diddy is 100% in the wrong about like all of it. Like I'm not saying that she's not wrong for coming after him. I just feel like the timing just was a little bit what do you call it? The timing was a little bit suspicious, seeing as how she coming out with like a book soon. You know, she's moved on with her life since. She's been married since. She has a kid since this. So it's been a very, very, very long time. And I think I saw something about the reason why she probably waited all this time was because there is a law in New York that's about to expire soon that allows victims of like sexual abuse and domestic violence to sue up to a certain amount of time. And I think that law is about to expire.
Yeah, the statute
Okay.
of limitation.
Yeah.
Miss Skittles, I'm on Miss Lotto. Excuse me. I see you go over in the cut, just bobbing your head like a bobblehead. But we gotta put the guests on Front Street real quick. Me and the brother, we always run our mouth. So, Miss Lotto, from your perspective of the Casey and Diddy thing, what do you see of this? Do you think this is a money grab? Do you think she was really kind of like, you know, waiting for some time to expire? Now she's come out the closet, she said she's a new woman and it's time to expose them. What's your thoughts on this whole case from what you know?
I think that it's such a sensitive topic, honestly, because I feel like she was being truthful. The question that everyone is asking is why now, right? And I'm honestly not sure about that, but I know, victims who have suffered from abuse or, traumatic experiences, sometimes they do withhold. They withdraw from themselves, they move on with their life, but at some point it could be something that triggered her to now she wants to put this on the Front Street. Given that she filed the lawsuit, they settled the next day. So they're like, okay, was this, just for money? But at the end of the day, she put it out there. So there may be other victims that maybe got a little bit motivated, behind her stepping out, that may jump on the bandwagon with it. So that's what I'm waiting for to see what's going to go down with it.
Dr. Marco, I need the doctor's prescription, man. What's going on, man? What's the mindset behind this, man? You think it's a money grab? What's the thoughts?
I'm gonna agree with Lotto, because of the fact that she did come out and say it happened. I understand that they did settle because she waited. Sometimes there is a breaking point when you have to adjust for yourself. A abuser has been victimized or whatever, and she had to say, well, let me get myself together first. And it took some time for her to get over that. Even seeing him, could bring in trauma. Yes, she took the money, and it could have been a money grab too. But agreeing with Lotto, maybe it was a step to say, hey, he did this to me. Let me take him to court. Even though Diddy did settle, there could be people behind him. Like, even though, people always say bad boys for life. He could have did this to 112 or whoever else may be. And they're kind of say, okay, well, she took the first step. Now I'm sitting behind the curtain. Let me open this curtain and put a lawsuit for him. And those people may send Diddy to jail. And that's what he's trying to do by trying to settle first and not let the gates of hell open and flood on him so that he cannot, see those other people first. And people might come here for him money too. But also some people might also put him in jail because of the fact that she already took some money. And I don't know why she just didn't put him to jail, but she might needed the money too. And it could be a publicity, but we would never know as just regular ordinary people. We're not in that Diddy, conversation or sitting up there with, the hills of LA or New York, whatever the case may be. But it could be both, but we'll never know.
Before I play devil's advocate, private sector, brother Kazi, fill us in, man. What you thinking about this so far?
From like a law standpoint, Miss Real Estate, I can't remember her name, Miss Q, sorry. Miss Q was saying that there's I guess a law in New York now where it is that after a certain time you cannot file or sue at a certain point in time. But my thing is that when I heard the story, I thought of, okay, we're dealing with someone that has money, has a lot of money. At any point in time, you could be gone. That's gone. You know what I mean? So my thing is who was behind her to push her to come out? Because yes, as you say, and I don't downplay any kind of sexual abuse, anything like that, because triggers can always happen. But at the same time, if triggers were happening for the last 10 years, I believe, as me personally, I could be wrong, that you have to have some kind of backing in order to stand up and say, let me move forward. So the question is for me now is, okay, cool. Who was behind her, encouraging her to move forward? And then the famous question is, why at this point did she move forward? Yes, we will never know. But I'm do I believe he did it? Personal opinion, hypothetically, let's just say this is just out there hypothetically. Yeah, I believe he's an evil man. I really believe because, a lot of people in the industry speak about this guy and, have sometimes they do look a little side eye, even the comments that he makes. So, that's all I got for you that's all I'm going to comment on when it comes to that.
So
I'm going to leave it like that.
I want to play devil's advocate. Now, I want anyone, y'all can challenge me on any point what y'all think. Now, it looks crazy that the fact that she almost waited so many years to sue. Now, Ms. Lotto said that a lot of people, come to the realization, and certain times, and Ms. Q spoke a little bit on this too, that, it do take a little time. But in my opinion, on the devil advocate side, this was a money grab. And this is why I say this. If you leave a billionaire and then you go with what is he, a personal trainer? I don't even know what her boyfriend do, to be honest. I think he was a personal trainer at one point. They live in basic. Cassie ain't dropping no records. Like, and I'm not saying that she don't deserve it. But come on, 30 million when you could have really went any other time for this lawsuit and probably got the same money. So now I'm feeling like she probably a little broke. I'm feeling like she probably was trying to get light some pockets up a little bit. And I'm not excusing Diddy at all. That don't make him no clean because, of what he done. But as Brother Akazi said, he has years of bad representation from hitting all his baby moms, poor workmanship with his colleagues in the music industry, and then he gave everybody their royalties back when it was at zero. So, from my side, I was gonna flat out and say, this is a money move. Anybody got anything to object that to where y'all feel any different?
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna agree that it was a money move, but I still like the fact that she still took her power back. She still said he did this to me, and there's a lot more people out there that he did it too. That's the main point I think she got out of it. It was a money grab. I'm just saying I agree with her for getting the money and taking the opportunity to say he did this to me. So at least it puts it in his mind that I can't do this to other people because it put his staff on notice. It took everybody around him on notice. That you can't keep doing this to other people, and now he knows it. And those other people he did it to down the line are going to see that she took her power back. She stood up for herself, and now those other people can also do the exact same thing. And for every woman out there that it happened to any other artist or whatever down the line can do the exact same thing to every other, male or female who's done it to them can also do that same thing to their abuser. They can do the exact same thing. That's what she did for every woman out there. And that's my opinion. Go ahead, Brother Kazi.
So listen, if it was a money move, I don't want to sound crazy, but that was an excellent money move. I'm sorry.
Network.
Okay, yeah, that was
baby.
You're right. You're right. That but I still speak sparingly based off of the private sector, because we're just gonna get out there. But let's just say it was a money move. I think it was a great money move, and hats off to her. Whether it is true or not, she got the settlement. So when you swing once, you don't hit, you swing again. So I believe more part of her, it was a great money move because whatever she wants to do now with the 30 million, guess what? She up right now, even if she was down. That's just my 2 cents.
Ladies, you got any 2 cents? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I think that two things can be true at the same time. I mean, it could be a money grab, which deservedly so, if Diddy is guilty, which I believe that he is of those things. I don't think that she would come out and accuse him of those things if he wasn't, if she didn't have proof of it, right? But then also as like a victim of like violence and being manipulated and controlled and taken advantage of, hell yeah, she came back for her lick. And who can blame her for that, right? She got money with it to boot. And you know, when that happens to like regular everyday women, like we don't have that opportunity for the most part to get any type of anything like when it comes to somebody abusing us or taking advantage of us in any way. So she won. I'm not mad at her at all whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure Diddy wanted to get this out of the headlines because, like you said, more people are most likely going to come forward with similar stories. But
Mhm.
also, you know, his ex Kim Porter, the mother of his kids, died mysteriously, and so a lot of headlines were coming out about that too since
Exactly.
this lawsuit came out. So he needed to clean his name as quickly as possible.
Hmm. Miss Lotto, you got anything on that? Hmm. I got one last thing on this. At least, you know, as far as my question, y'all might have something else to elaborate on. Let's say that there was never, or the statute of limitations was up in New York. Do you think this would be a headline right now? Do you think she'll still have the same energy she is to get that money that everybody could agree that she deserves it? But if the statute of limitation was up, do you think this would be a big deal for her?
Well, if the statute of limitation was up in New York and there was no more way of proceeding forward, um, I personally think it would die out quickly. Because I mean, unless someone picks up and runs with it, but because it's not up, you know, we have everything behind it. You know, that's just my personal opinion.
Now, I only
I,
ask this. I want you to go in, brother, brother Komar. I only say this question for one reason. If this wasn't a lawsuit, I just don't see it having no power or no visibility to the public at all. So I question that because if there was none, would she still want to talk, even though there is no statute? I mean, the statute of limitations is up. That's why I asked this question, brother
so
Marco.
this is my opinion. It's being a psychology major and stuff like that. I think like somebody like her counselor or somebody like that may have pushed her into it. May have said, "Hey, you're dealing with a lot of turmoil in your mind and your relationship, and this is what's going on with you. I think you should get it out there." And I think even if there wasn't a statue, she may have still maybe put the documents out there for it to be known, that this is what he did to me. And I want y'all to just know it. This is the type of person he is, and this is what happened to me. So that it don't happen to any other female. And I think it probably still would have happened. Nothing may have not come from it, but I think she might have still pushed it out there, regardless, just because she wanted to get it off her chest.
Now, remember that docket we talking about though. That paperwork comes from the lawsuit. You only seen that paperwork because of a lawsuit happened. If that statute of limitations was
Right,
up, you would never seen it. So that's what I'm
Well,
right.
saying. Would it hold any verity
she
if?
could have just released it. I
But
She
would have
could have just released
released
it.
it. I would have just released it because, like I said, I didn't read the whole thing, but I read quite a bit of it. She went through some stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is very, very heavy and very traumatic. Probably stuff she would never get over in her whole life. You know, so even if the statute of limitation was up, you know, and she couldn't, you know, file legally against him, like for money or whatever, right? I think she still would have came out with it. And I think that if this is part of the publicity to like get, you know, drum up some interest about her book, I think she still would have done it. I think it still would have been a smart move for her, you know, when it comes to like PR, if
Yeah.
this isn't just completely cathartic for her to, you know, deal with these emotions and all the stuff that happened.
now,
Right.
Miss Q.
Because
Oh,
what's
hey, brother.
what?
I'm
Because
sorry.
what's in her book? When is her book released? What if it's not? What if it's in her book?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know. The
Mm-hmm.
life and turmoil. in her book. You know what I'm saying?
Soul
What's in her
Ties,
book.
link in the
I
description. Make
mean,
sure y'all get that copy.
I
You know what
mean,
time it is.
what's in her book? I'm just saying it could be in her book, and she could have not, filed a lawsuit because the lawsuit probably could have been, let me get this out of the way before it dropped in her book, and people read about it in her book, and she'd be like, oh well, nobody ever knew, so we don't know.
I agree. What y'all saying, so we clear, what none of you, Miss Q, Ms. Lotto, private sector, y'all, I agree with y'all 100%. But this is my thing. Miss Q, I believe you did a little more research on this. So you also seen that all his other baby moms and colleagues and stuff came before, and they also went in interviews and said how Diddy did them. But here's the thing why I bring that into question about statute of limitations. How big did it ever get? Nobody went on paperwork to where it could be stamped to where it has to go to court. In my opinion, the court is making this a publicity because of the fact it's on paperwork. Almost everybody he dealt with has came out in the interview and said that he did something of this type of sort, but they could never sue him, or they may be too scared to handle him, or they just they was too lined up with the money. I can't say. But now that this is mainstream because of the lawsuit, that's the reason why I asked this question.
I don't know.
Good
I feel
question.
like maybe Cassie had the money or somebody backing her with the money for this lawsuit. Because I'm pretty sure if this actually went to trial, this would be so expensive and time consuming that most other people wouldn't be able to afford it.
Mhm.
Right. And most other people that he dealt with don't have, even though Cassie is not, a big, huge star now, don't have as much name recognition as Cassie for this stuff to get into the headlines.
Well, hey, anything to follow that in regards to this Diddy thing? Because I'm not gonna lie, man, this is this is a crazy story in general. I'm trying to walk on the eggshells and play devil's advocate, but I don't want to come so hard at the young lady. But all I'm saying is, no, man, I don't know. All right, so we got that clear. We can piggyback from this and go straight into our other segment, which we call "Can Men and Women Be Platonically?" I'm sorry?
You want to go to the other one, the one about the teacher and the kids.
We want to go to the teacher and the kids?
Yeah.
Teacher and the kids then. So, we have...
That was going to be long.
Well, shit, all this going to be long. I ain't going to lie. But, okay. So, the teacher and the kid situation, we pretty much will title this, again, I don't want to call this... What do we call it? Bad parenting? You want to call it bad parenting part 2?
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet. 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it.
The story that we all sent in a group message was, I believe, a teacher, which is a ballet teacher. And she gave a summary on the state of children. And she's going through a lot as a teacher with trying to get correction from the parents to transcribe into their children, which seems to be a big issue nowadays.
What world do we live in? Like, what in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And another thing that's heart-wrenching is horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Ski Yee. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking, can we hear Pound Town? I'm playing them Princess Tiana ballet music. And they are asking me, can we hear Pound?
She stayed in the video. If a child's acting up, she said in the most polite, correct way she talked to the child. She followed with the parent acting ignorant as a child. And to the fact, she even added, which we talked about this before, Pound Town for a 5-year-old is pretty crazy. It's crazy. So the fact that a child will tell a ballet teacher, "Hey, turn that off and put on that Pound Town," I think this is wild. So, brother Komar, the man with 30 million kids, how we feel?
Wait, oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Let's
count. Let's count.
No.
Let's count my kids.
Hey.
To your kids.
Hey.
Because I got 6. Don't you got 12?
No, I don't got 12, bro. I got enough though. Hey, we gonna put out. I got 10. I got 10. You know, I got a football team. You feel me? I got 10. You have to put me out there like that, by the way. That's all.
You just trying to put me out there.
I said 12,000, not 7, man. But it's all good. I ain't tripping. But as a father, man.
Anyways, go ahead.
As a father, your daughter go to ballet, and now you having a conference with the ballet teacher and your daughter, and she's saying that, hey, your daughter talking about Pound Town this, ski that, and you know what I'm saying? She even try to roll that blue behind on the pole. Like, what's the first thing in your head as a parent?
I'm taking off my belt. You know how I do it. So first of all, I know I ain't gonna have to deal with that because my kids are angels. You know, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel you. Okay.
Me and the ballet teacher, we would have a sit down in a conference about it, and talk to my daughter about it because I wouldn't even know where it was coming from. We have to have a civilized conversation about what she can and what she can't do, and even how can I say it, the disciplinary actions that even the ballet teacher could do toward my child to get her to act right. Because in my eye, I'm still an old school parent. You got to be able to control my kids, while they're away from me. Because as a coach, I have to be able to control your child, while you're away. Because sometimes, at our facility, they drop their kids off and then they leave. So what do you want me to do to control your child? And we don't have those type of problems. We got some kids that are off the wall, but they're not that off the wall. And I don't see none of my parents coming in saying, "Hey, you did this to my child," or whatever. But these day and age, we talked about like when I think episode 3 about parents wanting to fight you after you tell them, their kid did this and that. And that's the generation we live into. So back to the whole communication thing, it's a communication barrier. Like, it reflects you as a parent. What are you teaching your child back at the house? And what was your upbringing? Because it also reflects back on your parents. Like, what did your parents teach you? Invite, all the way up. So my my kids, I honestly, I'm gonna have to say it. And we on the air. I'm gonna whoop my kid. It probably won't be there then and then, but when we get home, I gotta talk to you about it. And I'm taking TVs away, electronics away, and everything, because we're not gonna be doing this. Because you're not gonna be embarrassing me, because you're a reflection of my household and my parenting skills. And I think people need to understand that.
I like that. Anybody want to follow behind him before I just start pointing at throwing darts at y'all?
Yeah.
Wait, you
So
should go back to him first because you a parent. Never mind. Go ahead.
I know I am, but hey, look, you already put me on blast. I'm gonna save it for later. Go ahead, brother.
so
Kazi.
I don't have any children yet. Right? Yeah.
See?
But what I can say, I grew up in Barbados. I moved to this country when I was 20. And I really think that culture has a lot to do with everything, right? I grew up young. We went to something called like Kiddies Carnival. Like, is the same like I don't know what's called, like, like Miami Carnival, but in the Caribbean we got like Cropova and like different islands got different stuff. So I grew up going to Kiddies Carnival. It was never really a big thing. It wasn't like over sexualized. It was not. When I moved to this country, however, I realized that Carnival was something totally different from what it is in the Caribbean. Totally different. So in seeing the student or whoever and the teacher got to speak with the parent, whatever it might be, my big thing is that does culture, and this is a question, does culture have a lot to play in it? And at what point do you have to tell your kid or daughter whatever you're seeing out there that's not the culture? Because if I saw my little daughter if she told the ballet teacher, yo, put on walk up and stab, I'm honestly I'm a laugh. My wife probably she might be more serious, but I'm gonna laugh because I grew up seeing that. It's just a norm to see children walking up. You know what I mean? Like winding up. I don't know what's called here in my. I guess it's called winding up. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just curious. Are you familiar with the song Pound Town?
You mean as a
Yeah,
ski?
that
I'm
that
out here in
song.
Miami.
Okay, yeah. So now, what I'm saying, the song that you brought up, is
Right.
the same as raunchiness as Pound Town? Because that's why I want to know real fast. That's all I want to know.
Okay. Well, depends on how you listen to soca, because soca like you can have a song saying I am down in her country. You know what I mean? So when we hear that I'm down in her country, like the adult will be like, okay, cool, I know what exactly you're talking about. So it depends on. It's not as explicit as my booty hole brown, whatever. It's not as explicit as that. But no, but because I never really quite heard. All I know is ski. I'm out here in Miami looking for sugar Diddy. I don't know nothing else, but that's the main parts that I know. So that's why I just related it back to like certain soca songs that I heard, seeing how children is doing in the Caribbean. And the thing is that like I would laugh. I'm not gonna lie. All I know is ski. I'm out here in Miami looking for sugar Diddy. I think I would laugh because I don't know the song. You know what I mean? But if it's as bad as you guys saying it is, I can only relate it to like soca or dancehall songs that I would know that if my son or daughter listen to, first I would laugh first and then have a conversation. But it would more funny to me. I guess because I don't have kids as yet. I don't know. You know, I mean, parents might rebuke me for saying this, but I'm like, listen, man, he in my house, she in my house, she's safe. Listen, you can't do this when you get outside. You know, have a full conversation. And if it somehow comes out outside, well, we gotta have another conversation.
Hey,
That's
you going to hell, bro. I'm just gonna let you know you're going to hell. Miss Q, hey, listen, Miss Q, I just seen your neck rolling, your eyes gonna look you like, yo, go, let me know something, Miss Q. I've been looking at Miss Q, she like, yo, let me tell these brothers something. Let me in now. I've been watching now.
Well, I'm gonna just preface this by saying I do not have kids just yet. So my opinions, are gonna come from my experience as helping to raise kids as an older sister. Like I was the older sister of like the whole family, and also being a cool rich auntie. Okay, so just keep that perspective. All right. Now I'm gonna say, growing up in Houston, Texas, I was listening to Tupac in the backseat with my mama the entire time I was growing up. Okay. I grew up singing all the words to Too Slow. Baby, no more crying, right? I didn't know what those words were as a child, right? So I'm just singing because I like the melody. I don't know what the words are. I'm not putting two and two together. So I don't think that kids have any idea. They have no concept of sexuality as we do. So I don't think the kids are doing anything wrong. I think it is the parents. Because like, even though I listen to Tupac every single day of my life and I can recite all of his songs, even including the cuss words at 5 years old, I didn't go to school and repeat those things. I didn't go to my teacher requesting them to put Thug Life on. You know what I'm saying? So I think it has to do a lot with the parents and how they handle those situations. Also, I wonder nowadays with like social media, if that has an effect on how people are parenting their kids. And like they think that that's cute because if you were filming that, that would be like a cute little viral moment or whatever to see your kids singing a Pound Town. But like IRL in real life, that's you would, if there weren't the cameras and social media and cloud, I don't think that it would be cute. It wasn't cute.
I
Lived
agree.
experience. It wasn't cute to have your kid walking around singing songs that they have no business singing, whether or not they were exposed to those. So I think that is totally a parenting thing. And that ballet teacher is not the only teacher that I've seen on social media making these same sorts of claims. Like I also saw another guy who teaches like dance or something, I don't know, but also like teachers that are teaching middle school and that say how they can't read, right? They don't have basic fundamental skills, right? So I think that maybe there's something going on with what goes on in schools, but I also think that it has something to do with like parenting and how much people are parenting their kids, like actually taking grasp of their kids and not just leaving it up to the people at school. That's kind of what it sounded like to me.
Ms. Lotto, we need to know what's going on in that head now. What is your outlook on this? From everything you heard, or I think I sent you the clip. So how do you feel about this situation going on in the current state of parent and teachers with their children?
I will say I am not a parent yet. However, just from experiencing, just from, observing, I feel as though there are not a lot of parents that are, actually teaching their kids. They're giving them, access to all these electronics that's actually teaching them. So they have no control over essentially what their child is exposed to. I think it goes to parenting, teachers, the kids, just who is this kid influenced by? That's all I want to protect on how this child is. And I feel like actually if more parents would be more proactive with their children and seeing what's going on inside of their head, and possibly just leaving it to the teachers in the schools, I think kids would be better off. Because, there's a lot of kids that know how to work tablets and iPhones, but they can't, count or they can't read, so they only repeating what they're hearing. They can repeat the lyrics to a song, not, knowing exactly what they're meaning by it, but they can do that. But, they don't have the basic fundamentals. So I feel like more parents should be more in with their children.
I like that. Well,
because I feel like the less that they are, is going to be more on the teachers. Okay. Once they get a hold to them. So now they're trying to teach them things that, maybe they should be a little bit more exposed to at home, because now it's making their jobs harder, and they're trying to correct things that may or may not, this kid shouldn't have been exposed to.
I agree with that. And my apologies for jumping in too early. I thought you finished, so I try to be respectful for everybody on here. So my apologies for that. Honestly, since Brother Komar put me and my football team on blast, it's all good. For me, this is sad. It's very sad. Because even though I have a lot of children, Brother Komar is probably one of the biggest witnesses. There's a lot of a big witness. I'm very a stern person. I couldn't imagine my daughter at all. The soca, the pound, they know, like off the rip. I just gotta give like 2 stern eyeballs and all that just over with. And I don't even whoop children. I come from an era where like we was watching, say for instance, you was watching TV with your parents and they know that nasty part come on, you gotta be like, hey, yo, close your eyes, turn around. You know what I'm saying? I'm from that era. When we had to curse, we literally had to go 3 blocks down the street like, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because we know if our mama or somebody heard like you did something like that, boy, that same belt Brother Marco's pulling off, it probably was 3 times that size, and you getting that butt toe up. So I don't like none of this. I agree with Ms. Val. I agree with actually all of you guys. Now, I think it's more on parents to be parents. Technology is riding a lot of the youth, and people don't realize it. The only benefit is to a parent is it gives them a distraction. And I understand a lot of parents don't want to be distracted all day. They work 8, 12 hours. They don't really want to come deal with maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 kids after being tired all day. Or some people just don't even have the umph in them to even do it. So I can't really get mad at the teachers, because even in Arizona right now, we have a huge teacher shortage. They're not even looking for degrees. That's how bad it is. Classrooms is almost getting to 40 per classroom because the children are so far out of line. Parents ain't really trying to parent. They're not trying to hold their own children accountable. It's like if you say something to a child, why are you talking to my child like that? But remember, especially for the ones in the South, you know how I go. If you got in trouble at that corner and everybody knew your mama along the way, you might got your butts toe up, armed up down the street because of the fact that it was a big thing to have accountability for yourself, whether it's a little boy or a little girl. So as a father, I don't agree with none of that. I probably would have set the whole classroom at attention and everybody got to do push-ups, because it's just some things I can't play with or I can't have. Miss Skill probably timed out for a sec. She probably got a phone call. But on that note, from my side, that's all I have to say for me. My follow-up question is, even though you guys not parents, but Brother Marco is, and I, for the ones who ain't parents, we'll start with you first. From what you see and what you heard, what do you think that parents should do as far as making these steps better for their children and also for the teacher? Because right now, this is a pretty critical thing.
Something Miss Q said that really intrigued me. She said that at a very young age she knew like every Tupac lyric because she was allowed to listen to it, or it is that probably whoever was playing it wasn't really paying attention. It's like, okay, whatever, she's a kid, she doesn't even know what this means. The same thing what she says, a lot of kids are innocent. Well, a lot of kids are innocent that they really don't know what these terms mean. In terms of parenting and the parenting styles, if it happens, I don't really feel you should be aggressive, because now for me, I believe that you make this child go into a shell, and now they're gonna do it even more behind your back now, because they know I'm gonna get in trouble if I get caught. More as in, well, Jeffrey, do you know what this means? And if this kid honestly don't know what it means, you explain it the best way possible, and you try to tell them, well, listen, out in public, this is what is acceptable, or this was not acceptable, and then you move from there. That's a gentle parenting style. I don't believe in the aggression, because I got whooped a lot growing up, whooped a lot, because I was stubborn. There's every little thing I got whooped for. But for me, I just believe that you should be more gentle with not knowing. If they don't know, you can't fault them. Just be gentle with them. That's just me.
Miss Q?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that parents do need to be more involved, and I feel so judgmental saying this, because I can't, I obviously don't know what's going on in everybody's household, right? I have no idea, but I do think that parents need to be involved. And part of like my upbringing, I credit my mom for this, is that even though me and my mom grew up together, because she had me really young, right? So that's why she was listening to Tupac, and because that was her shit, that's what she was listening to. But she understood that she had to parent all of us differently. So like she understood that I'm not taking that stuff personal, and I'm not gonna try to emulate the things that I'm hearing in those songs, right? She knew that I loved music. So listening to music and parroting whatever I heard in music and commercials and TV and stuff, she knew that it was not a big deal. But my mom also, she knew that I loved to read. So my mama, who is not a bookworm at all, who was in her early 20s, had no business having kids, would sit down and read with me, right? And make sure that I got what I needed outside of school if school wasn't giving me everything that I needed. So I think it's all about you. Social media, tablets, and teachers cannot substitute like the relationship that a kid has with their parent, and their parent, you know, pouring into them. Because now what this makes me wonder is like what's going to happen to these kids as they get older. Like I watched some of these videos on like TikTok from like middle class white kids who grew up in households where their parents were making them feel like they were burdens for being in their house, right? For just growing up, for just existing, right? And now these white kids, as they become adults, resent their parents, right? Who would have known that that would have been the outcome? So I just wonder what's going to happen to these kids as they grow up, and then as they grow older, what their relationships are going to be to their parents, what they're going to think about their upbringings.
Miss Lotto, from a person who's not a parent, what's your excuse me? What is your outtake on this? I know your video went out, so I don't know what all you heard or didn't heard. So, same question I asked them: how do you feel we should come about the relationship between parent and teacher that could translate better to the child?
I feel like the parents and the teacher, I feel like if they are open-minded, if they are understanding, because, as Miss Q said, you do have to deal with each individual according to them as a person. So there may be different approaches that you have to take with these children. And I feel like if more people would recognize that, I think it will be for the better. And I just think that parents need to get a little bit more involved with the children, make it a little bit easier, for the teachers. Because although kids can be innocent, to some things that they are exposed to, just like at school, they can be saying this type of information somewhere else. And certain people, depending upon their culture, they might take it the wrong way. It could be offensive. We never know, what we're pouring into them or what they're pouring onto themselves, how other people are going to take it.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Doctor, bring us home, brother. As a parent of your own mini football field now, what can a brother, what can the brother, give to the audience that they can grow from in these situations when it comes to parent teacher relationships is better for the child?
Um, I mean, I guess from I mean, I got 6 kids, and we every